of them all, guys. This draw here, now I don't like how all of my favorite players are stacked inside the same draw area. I don't like that, and I haven't liked it. It's been something that's been going on for a very long time. I've talked about it for many years. I don't like how they do that, but does it make for a good matchup if they do meet each other? They do. So let's just get our popcorn and enjoy. Sarah Bejlek from the Czech Republic, one of my top teams to watch out for, taking on long hair don't care Junior Slam champion Leylah Fernandez. Now Leylah's ranked 36 on tour, taking on Sarah Bejlek, who's ranked 134. They've never played before. Look, Leylah's coming off of a 40-win season after injuring that lower ankle. She's back and she's ready. Pretty decent at the United Cup. She did lose to Sakri. That was I would say that was a pretty competitive match, right? First set went to a tiebreak. She lost the second set 6-3. Sarah's hot. I say it all the time. Upsets happen at these slams when players that come through qualifiers are taking on someone that hasn't really played, but I imagine Leylah's working hard. I talked to Leylah Fernandez's father, and he told me that Leylah's pretty much, and this was last year when she was struggling mid-season, he's like, it's just about Leylah getting her confidence together. And I think he's an amazing coach. What he did with his daughters is beautiful. One of the best dads on tour for sure. And but I never forget his words, and I say it all the time. Tennis is about rhythm, timing, form, and confidence. Even though Leylah, I'm pretty sure she's practicing hard, right? She's playing at a high level at these cups. Sarah's hot, and this is not a good matchup I would want for Leylah in the first round, but I do think Leylah will squeak a victory here out. Sarah plays very fast and aggressive. She's left-handed. She loves to come forward, wide serve and volley. Leylah is a baseline bully, though. She's not going to give that baseline up. So if Sarah's going to beat her, it's going to have to be literally inside that baseline. I don't know if Sarah can do that. So I like Leylah Fernandez to get the victory here on the money line. That's my pick. Leylah advances to the second round. The next matchup, we have Leylah Janjan from France. Bonjour, comment allez-vous? But she played her tennis here, her college tennis rather, here in the States. And she's taking on Dolehide, American, who's been on tour for a couple years. He's finally getting that breakthrough she deserves, reaching 41st, her all-time ranking, after doing amazing in Mexico, losing that championship match to Sakri. Now Dolehide's got a great backhand. She's tall, she's physical, she's very powerful from that baseline. Leylah Janjan's pretty small. She's a tiny woman. I've seen her, and she's pretty small. She's going to be up against a giant here, but she does own the head-to-head. They played a couple years ago on clay, which we know Leylah Janjan prefers to play on clay, right? More than half of her wins, nearly half of her wins come on clay, while Dolehide, more than half of her wins come on the hard surface. Leylah's come through qualifiers. She did drop a couple sets to lower level talent. I mean, well, Eva Liz is coming on. She's pretty solid, but I would consider Dolehide a much more complete player than Eva Liz and Monet. The win against Rodionova, who's playing solid, was a good win. Dolehide, we saw recently take out Mayar Sharif. That's a solid win. Now, Sharif and Janjan, they have their games are pretty comparable, right? I think Leylah Janjan wants to get to the backhand. The forehand's a little shaky, but I think Dolehide's overvalued. I don't like Dolehide being a 3-1 favorite in a spot like this. So I'm going to go with Janjan plus 6.5 games on the alternate spread. That's the pick, guys. Next up, we got AP in the building. Alycia Parks from Atlanta, Georgia, United States, taking on Daria Snyder from the hard-hitting Ukraine. Now, these two ladies have never played before, guys, and Daria is balling hard. Now, Daria, guys, if you're not familiar with her, look, she's from the Ukraine, and she's ranked 136. She hasn't been inside the top 100, right? She's knocking on the door. She's 21 years old, and she's come through qualifiers, ladies and gentlemen. She took out Cross and Lee. She destroyed, and Madison Ingles, another American. She's just been destroying Americans lately. This match here with Alycia Parks is going to be pretty darn interesting. Now, in terms of Alycia Parks, I don't think you can ask for a better first round matchup. Alycia Parks, we've seen her inside the top 50, knocking on the door of the top 40. She is ranked 82nd on the World Tour right now. We saw her recently support the United Cup team. She lost to Katie Boulter recently in the Adelaide qualifying round 1. It went 3 sets. Katie Boulter is a much more complete player than Daria Snyder, in my opinion. But before that, look, she's been practicing. Like I said, she was on the United Cup team. Just being able to practice with players like Pegula has got to be amazing, and to hit balls with some of those guys, you know, it's got to be amazing. But Alycia Park's one of the best servers on tour in terms of aces. She led the tour in aces per match last year. She's got a lot of power. Now Daria, she is a good mid-range player. She's a good shot maker. She's very unconventional. She's very tricky with her shots, and she confuses a lot of players because the way she holds her racket, you really don't know which way she's going to go with her shots. This is a different matchup though. Alycia Parks has the respect of a lot of her peers, and they've said, some of the top players, Anastasia Potapova said it best, playing Alycia Parks, I thought she was going to break my racket. She hits so hard. Caroline Garcia, they've on Shabor, they've all said Alycia Parks hits so hard. And I think that's going to give Daria problems in this match. Daria is the favorite. We're going to go with Alycia Parks on the underdog to win this matchup. Alycia cannot ask for a better matchup. But for Alycia Parks to win this matchup, she has to put the pressure on Daria and make her fold. Daria is the type of person, she needs time. And we've seen Daria win some very impressive matches lately, guys. We've seen Daria beat, literally, she beat Simona Waltert and Lee. But I gave you the lock for Ocean Dodden to beat Daria. That's right, guys. Remember that? Daria was literally a 2-to-1 favorite, as high as a 2.5-to-1 favorite in Canberra. This is a similar matchup. Alycia Parks hits a lot harder than Ocean Dodden. Her forehand's a little more consistent. Her backhand's consistent. She has better footwork. She moves better. She comes vertically a lot better than Ocean Dodden. We got to take Alycia Parks as the underdog on the victory. That's a pick, guys. And next up, the last prediction, Coco Gauff, the future of tennis, taking on Anne-Carolina Schmidlova. Now, Coco owns the head-to-head here. Not going to spend much time on this matchup because I think that not only does Coco push a very intense pace that Anne-Carolina is going to struggle with. I say it all the time. Anne-Carolina, she gasses out. She gets very tired quickly, and it's evident because she's breathing heavy, and you can see it on her face. And then just her effort to return balls when she gets tired, it starts to diminish. Coco, I think, is going to win this match. So I don't think Coco is going to have an issue with Anne-Carolina. I like Coco to win this match on the victory, but I want to take a look at Coco's path to the championship. So she gets past Anne-Carolina, which I think she will. She'll take on Caroline Dolehide, who she owns the head-to-head against. She defeated Dolehide in Lexington in straight sets. I don't think Dolehide has the variety to really compete with Coco. I think Coco can put a lot of pressure on Dolehide mid-range, and especially with the short balls. And I don't think, even though Dolehide's pretty big and strong, I think she's gonna have trouble returning Coco's new fast serve. 128 miles per hour. Ladies on tour, they're not doing that consistently. That's a lot of pressure to return, and it really just gets you off to a bad start on the rally on the back foot. And it's going to put a lot of pressure where on your service games, you're going to be forced to maybe play a little harder and make more mistakes, just being uncomfortable knowing that that power, especially on the defensive side, is coming back to you. So I like Coco to get past Anne-Carolina. If Dolehide makes it past John, which is going to be tough, I do like Coco to beat Dolehide. And let's say John wins. The last time they played, John hit a drop shot against Coco. Coco fell down, got back up, chased down the drop shot, won the point. Leylah looked at the camera and said, WTH. She couldn't believe it. Insane, like a video game. Round 3, if she gets past Dolehide and or John, she'll take on Leylah Fernandez if Leylah wins. Now, Leylah and Coco haven't played. That would be a good matchup because Coco's now going to have to face someone just as athletic as her. The problem is going to be the power and the shot making ability. I think Coco's a much better player, a much better defender, and she, especially in the long rallies, I think Leylah starts to break down. So I think Coco gets past Leylah. Caroline Garcia, the head-to-head, it's now tied. The last time they played at the finals, Garcia won that matchup, and that essentially tied up the head-to-head with Coco. But it's now tied up at 2-2, but I do think Coco's just a more complete player than Caroline Garcia. And I would like Coco to get, I think Coco gets past Caroline Garcia pretty easily, and that's if Coco, that's if Garcia wins. You know, Garcia, she's got a tough match against Osaka. If Osaka gets to that point and faces Coco, I like Coco to beat Osaka. Osaka's not where she needs to be, taking on, in my opinion, at least the second best player in the world because she destroyed Sabalenka last time. I think Osaka's going to be in trouble taking on someone in that great form like Coco, right? So I think Coco gets past Garcia if Garcia wins, but that's not a lot for Garcia to win. I think she can lose to Osaka. Sakkari is one of the few players in the top 10 aside from Iga Swiatek that really has just owned the head-to-head against Coco. But the tide is changing. It's now 4-3 with Coco winning the last one at Beijing and the last one at Washington, D.C. Sakkari just doesn't have the game at this point of her career or athletic ability to compete with Coco. I don't think Sakkari will ever beat Coco again. So I think Coco gets past Sakkari. Now, if those players make it to that point, that will essentially put Coco in the semifinal match versus Aryna Sabalenka if she holds her end of the bargain, which there's a good chance she will, but I don't think Sabalenka's a threat to Coco. They've played 6 times. Coco's won 4 of them, the last time coming at the US Open where Coco was down a set and came back. Coco is serving a lot better, stronger, faster, more consistent, more accurate. Her defense looks better. She's put on strength in her legs and her upper body. I think she would run circles around Aryna Sabalenka, much like Rebecca did recently at the championship and at the championship match where Sabalenka just got spanked. Now, Aryna Sabalenka, guys, she's got power. I just don't think she has the discipline to consistently beat players with more skill and fundamental. That's the problem with Aryna Sabalenka, in my opinion. I think when she's playing players she can overhit and overpower, she does well. But she looked horrible at Brisbane. And facing someone like Coco, who in my opinion is just much better all around than Elena Rybakina, I think we're going to see a head-to-head that continues to be lopsided. I think Coco would beat Sabalenka and make it to the championship match, where I don't think Iga would be on the other side. I think Iga's going to be eliminated. She's got a very tough draw, and her serve hasn't looked good. But that would potentially be Coco's path to the final, and Coco's my pick to win the Australian Open. Tennis in a minute. Like the video, drop a flag where you're from, enjoy the free picks, hit the super thanks, and stay tuned for more Australian Open tennis coverage. We'll be right back. Everyone have a great weekend. Enjoy the matches.